Hello, saver. Whether you're saving for that trip to the tropics or saving for an emergency, now is the time to take advantage of Wells Fargo's savings options. Wells Fargo offers savings accounts that can help you save towards your goals. So, what are you saving for? Visit a Wells Fargo branch or wellsfargo.com/save to open a savings account today.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
Grand Canyon University's RN to BSN online degree program makes earning your bachelor's in nursing possible. Balance online coursework with local in-person clinicals to position yourself for potential leadership opportunities in the time you have from wherever you are, leaving room for what matters. Achieve your goals with your personalized plan and team behind you. Find your purpose at Grand Canyon University. Visit gcu.edu.
Hey, it's Christine from Storyworthy. Today on the show, actor Larry Clarke talks about working a private dinner party for Lauren Bacall.
I've waited on a lot of celebrities, and I had been in, working on the Upper West Side for a while, since 1988. So I'd been there for 4 or 5 years, and all I did was wait on kind of people who, and generally they were all pretty cool. She whipped the door up and she went, "Are you Larry? You're late. Light the fires, Larry. Light the fires." I was like, "Okay, what fires? Where are they?" "Over there, Larry." She pulls me aside. She goes, "You're pouring too much liquor in the drinks. You're going to get them drunk. You do need me to pull off this party. Why are you making me nervous? And now, why are you pissing me off?"
Today on the show, actor Larry Clarke talks about working a private dinner party for actress Lauren Bacall. And wait till you hear what happened. Stay close.
Hey, this is Larry Clarke, and you're listening to Storyworthy.
Welcome to Storyworthy. My name is Christine Blackburn, and I'm coming to you from Los Angeles, California. Whether you're a longtime fan of the show or a new listener, welcome to Storyworthy. I hope you guys enjoyed the show last week with comedian Uriah Westman. Uriah told a story about being brought up in 3 cults. As it were, you just go cult to cult and you do what your parents tell you to, and then you end up a comedian. You see how that happens? Be careful how you raise your children, would you? Ladies and gentlemen, here on Storyworthy, sometimes I play stories from the past because, I've been recording Storyworthy for 14 years now. And that's over 800 episodes. And there's just no way you guys have heard 800 stories. So now and then, I'm going to recycle stories from the past, bring them back for you guys to enjoy. And today is that kind of a day. Today's story comes from actor Larry Clarke, and he talks about catering in New York City and being assigned to a job at Lauren Bacall's house. And this story gets absolutely insane. I'm telling you, you hear stories about stars that are unreasonable or, kind of out there. And Lauren Bacall is probably the queen of those dysfunctional actors and actresses. I mean, she was just one of a kind, and you're going to hear that today. Larry Clarke is a very accomplished actor here in Los Angeles. You guys can find Larry on all the social medias at Larry Clarke, and he really is an impressive guy. Before we get to Larry's story, I wanted to remind you that My Life in 3 Songs is going hot. I am recording My Life in 3 Songs all the time with brand new comedians. And I'm telling you, it is my favorite project I've ever worked on. I talk to comedians about the 3 songs in their life that have impacted them. Not necessarily their favorite songs, but songs that really paint a picture of the comedian and the way they grew up. So if you haven't checked it out yet, please head over to mylifein3songs.com and listen to the show on Spotify. I would appreciate that. If I could even get 1/10 of the Storyworthy fans to get over there to Spotify and follow the show, I would be thrilled. You guys know that's the way it's supposed to work, right? Because now you listen to me. You've been listening to me for over 14 years. And now I started a new show. So the idea is I get you guys, my story-worthy listeners, to head over to My Life in 3 Songs. You know I won't steer you wrong. You know it's a terrific show. So please follow My Life in 3 Songs over there on Spotify. And don't forget that Story Smash, the storytelling game show, it's back and live at the Lyric Hyperion April 6th. You can find out a lot more about the show at storysmashshow.com. Get your tickets now for April 6th with Danny Zucker, Wendy McLennan-Covey, and Blaine Capatch. All right, you guys, wherever you are, put your hands together for the very talented Larry Clarke.
You know, this is a hard story to tell because it was not a good experience. I learned a lot about celebrity. I learned a lot about Hollywood. This was in the early 90s. I was working at a restaurant called Tattoo in New York City, so I was waiting on it was a very shishi, happening, hip joint. I was being exposed to a lot of celebrities and B-celebrities every single day. This guy who tended the bar there, Michael Jordan, he said, "Hey, Larry, I got this thing for you if you want to do it." He goes, my wife works for Lauren Bacall. She's her assistant, and they need a waiter to run a Christmas party for her. He says, and I thought about you because he says, you're not going to get paid well at all. As a matter of fact, she's really cheap. He goes, but you're going to get a good story out of it. He goes, because there's going to be some other celebrities there, and you're the only waiter. I went, absolutely, sign me up. Where is it? He goes, it's in the Dakotas. I was like, I love the Dakotas. I was obsessed with the Dakotas because of John Lennon.
Yeah.
And, it's the early 90s, blah, blah, blah. That's 10 years after he was shot. And anyway, I was always wanted to get into the Dakotas. And so this was my opportunity. And I wasn't that crazy about Lauren Bacall, but I was like, this is going to be interesting. So he did warn me. He goes, listen, it's a Christmas party. She's cheap as hell. They're going to pay you. Right before you get there, you're going to get an envelope for $75. I said, $75? I mean, I was also working with Glorious Food at the time, which was a high-end catering company. And I was making, $17 an hour. But on Christmas parties, you would make double that. In other words, you would always get tipped pretty heavily at Christmas time. And this was Christmas. This was like December 18th. He was like, yeah, that's not going to happen. So I was like, whatever. This isn't for the money. I will go. So he set it up. He gave me the parameters. I walked up to the Dakotas and I walked right in. I could not believe it. I was so excited. And the guy was like, I expected a lot more like, hey, who are you? And, show you. I said, I'm here for Lauren Bacall. He goes, hey, go up, go straight. He was like, he didn't ask for any identification. But he did say, take the back stairs. And then I realized that the back stairs are the servant stairs. So, with your help, if you're anyone, you're going into these luxurious homes at the Dakota, if you're servicing the owners, you go through the elevators in the back. You don't go in the elevators in the front, which is whatever. But it's something to be noted. So I took it to the fifth floor, got out, and I was like, psyched. And I knocked on the door, and it started. And it did not stop for 3 hours. She whipped the door up, and she went, are you Larry? You're late. And I was like, what do you mean? I said, it's 7:15. It's an 8 o'clock party. She goes, it's 7:30. And I was like, okay. And she goes, oh, hell, come in and put your stuff down. And she was crazy. And I walked into this amazing. They sold this apartment recently, I think, for $28 million.
Oh my God!
It had 20 feet ceilings, an unbelievable number of rooms. It was filled with artifacts and art. I mean, it was unbelievable. So you walked into this whole other world. I was like, what is this place? And she was like, light the fires, Larry, light the fires. I was like, okay, what fires? Where are they? Over there, Larry. And so I said, light fires, okay. I was totally, I got that she was going to be eccentric, and I was totally in for this. So I was going to keep my temper, and everything's going to be fine. So I started lighting the fire, and then I was reaching for something, and it dropped, and she went, oh my God, what did you do? And it was the door slid open, and, some books fell or something. And I went, oh, sorry about that. And she goes, good, right there. And all of a sudden, ding dong, she went, get the door, Larry. And I was like, is there anybody else here? And he goes, no. He goes, get the door, take their coats. And I was prepped that she had not had a party in years. that she has basically, been very unsocial for whatever reason. That's what I was told. So she was nervous about this. So who was being invited were Anthony Hopkins, Natasha Richardson, Liam Neeson, the Schlesingers. Arthur Schlesinger was coming, and then another couple I didn't quite know. They were pretty big in the business world. And that's it. So it was a party of about, 9 people, 10 people.
Like a dinner party, really.
It was a dinner party, yeah. But I wanted to meet Anthony Hopkins big time. Yeah. At that time, Remains of the Day was in the theater. I had seen Remains of the Day, and I was like blown away. I'd like seen it the week before, and so I was just like, anyway, I opened the door, and there he is. He's like the first to arrive. He's like, hello, hi, how are you? My name's Tony. And I go, hi, Mom. And she goes, oh, hello, Tony, how are you? And take his coat. And I took his coat, and she hasn't told me. I haven't prepped anything for this party. I don't know where anything is. I'm holding the coat, and she's like, over there. Like I can see her like pointing with her head, over there. So I go, yes, thank you. And I put the coat down, ding dong. And then all of a sudden, everyone's coming in. I'm taking coats. And she goes, get him drinks, Larry. And I go, yes, what would you like, Mr. John? He goes, Diet Coke. Okay, got a Diet Coke for him. And then everyone kind of like went into the front room, and she was like, basically to put, this is a long story, so I got to kind of do the Reader's Digest version because it's unbelievable the way that things transpired and how I connected with her. She was obsessed with me during this whole party. She kept her eyes on me constantly, and we hadn't really talked before, you know what I mean? So I didn't have any prep, so she was trying to teach me or guide me or something, and it looked like she hadn't had many parties, truly. So she was like, so we all went to the first room, and everyone pretty much arrived, and she was like, make drinks. And I asked everyone for drinks, and I started making them, and I see her looking at me as it was a tiny little drink table. I'll never forget it. And it had little tiny soda bottles, and I'm making like little gin and tonics and like that, and she's staring at me. And so we stayed there for about 10 minutes, and we moved to shall we go to the next room? She said, ha, ha, ha. And again, she's like laughing for everyone else and looking at me kind of leering. So I got that right away. I was like, why is she treating me like this? I've just got here. I'm a good guy.
How old were you at the time?
This was in the early 90s, so I'm like around 33, 32. Yeah.
So maybe she's into you. She's not into me at all.
No, not into me at all.
Okay.
No, she's leering at me. She's trying to speak to me with her eyes. So anyway, they move to the next room. She pulls me aside and she goes, you're pouring too much liquor in the drinks. You're going to get them drunk. And I go, oh, okay. That's a standard. Under my breath, I was like, it's a standard amount. I've made a lot of drinks. But, okay. And then she goes, and put the soda bottle, put the lids back on the little soda bottle. And she starts doing it in front of me, angrily. And these tiny little pony soda and tonics. And I'm literally looking at her like I have so much to do. And I go, am I literally going to be watching you make this point about pony bottles? This was a good precursor to the rest of the night because this didn't stop. Okay, so we go to the next part. She goes, get the wine, more wine. And, Anthony Hopkins was unbelievably nice. He would look you in the eye. He treated me like an equal, and Liam Neeson was incredibly gracious. I didn't really know. He wasn't that big then, but he was just becoming a star.
Yeah,
and Natasha was gorgeous. Yeah. And they were chain smoking Marlboros and drinking tons of red wine. And so they all drank. She goes, go get the appetizers. And I, she's whispering under my breath, I'll be right back. And I go back there, and she had her woman that obviously works there every day, She was Mexican and didn't speak much English, and I tried to get some stuff out of her. I couldn't get anything. I was like, what do I do? She just handed me this tray, and I go out there and I give her the appetizers, and then she pulls me aside. She said, what are you doing? She was giving me this little private thing like I'm fucking up. And I go, I don't know what are you talking about? She goes, no, just go. We're going to go to dinner soon. Just stay on it. And I go, okay, all right. And by then, this feeling of being like starstruck starts to leave. Yeah. And now I start getting pissed off. I've waited on a lot of celebrities. Yeah. And I had been in, working on the Upper West Side for a while, since 1988. So I'd been there for 4 or 5 years, and all I did was wait on kind of people who, and generally they were all pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then again, I was working at Tattoo. So, but she was starting to piss me off. I was like, you kind of don't talk to me this way, and
it's like she needs you.
Yeah, you do need me to pull off this party. Why are you making me nervous?
Right.
And now, why are you pissing me off? She came outside. She went, she goes, you use these glasses over here for the wine. She goes, these are bogey glasses. They're for our wedding. She goes, Tiffany. She goes, don't break them. Don't break them. And in my head, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to break them. But I'm like, why are we using these frickin' Tiffany glasses then? I'm nervous as hell, passing these things out, pouring wine in them. And then they all went and had dinner. And it was like a buffet-style dinner, and I literally started sweating and having a bit of a panic attack during all this because literally I thought this, oh my God, I'm getting so angry, I can't control it. So I had to I left the room, and I called my girlfriend at the time, and I was like, I told her, I'm going to leave. I'm just going to walk. I'm going to walk. I'm getting paid $75, and this woman's treating me like crap. And she goes, hang in there. She kind of talked me down. I go, this is unbelievable. I said, I want to take these bogey glasses and I'm going to just smash them on the floor. She goes, no, just hang in there. So where am I in the story? So they had dinner. And then she, at one time during dinner, and I was kind of hiding in the back room because now I thought about, every time I come out, I'm having this weird interaction with her. I'm going to stay away. Like, I'm just going to hang out. They all got their main course. I'm going to stay away. Yeah. And she went, where is he? I hear her echoing down the hall. She goes, where is he? Where's the boy? She called me boy. Boy! Like that, like barked it. And I went, boy. She says, where's the boy? I'm not a boy. And that's where that slave feeling started to kind of kick in. And everything started kind of, the way she had treated me with every moment leading up to that, now I was pissed. Wow. And I was every moment, probably I stayed there for another hour until the end of the party, but I could have left every 5 minutes. I was like, should I leave? No, I'm going to stay. But now I'm pissed. So she went, Larry, she goes, take the coffee orders. And I went, okay, I'll be right back. And I went to the kitchen, and they had set up this huge classic, coffee and tea service had been set up with these, very expensive china, coffee and tea glasses, and this huge, what is it called?
Decanter.
A huge coffee decanter, yes, and it's all glorious, and it's on this big silver tray. I picked it up, and it's heavy as hell, and I start walking it down, and in my head I'm thinking, I know what she wants me to do. She wants me to stay in that little room. They were in a little tiny room, and she wants me to pour coffee for everybody. And what would you like? Coffee, cream, and then you pour 10 cups of coffee. Already I'm sweating, I'm angry, and I'm in my head, I'm thinking, there's no way I'm going to do this. There's no way I'm going to do this. So as I'm walking down the hall, Anthony Hopkins is walking the other way towards me. And I'm walking with the silver tray, and I'd just seen Remains of the Day, and it's just he and I. And he walks straight towards me, and in my head, I'm like, I am you. I just felt like saying, I'm an actor, I am you, and I just watched you, and I'm more than this. I wanted to say it. And he went, excuse me, where are the bathrooms? And I was like, down the hall, Sir Anthony. Oh, God, look at me. I'm always going to be a waiter. I'm always going to be this. I'm tragic, just like in your movie. My life's going to be a tragedy. I'll never do what I want to do. So anyway, I walked all the way down. There she was. I put it that coffee service right in front of Lauren Bacall. And as she went, Larry, basically Larry, and I just turned, and I walked. And went, Larry, I just walked away. And then I stayed away for the rest of the party. And they all finished their coffee, made coffee themselves. Oh, I'm sorry, this is America. Oh, you got to make your own coffee. I'm sorry if I didn't, serve you correctly. And then he left, and she laid into me. And she said, I don't know where you think you've done this before, or why you even think you qualify as a professional. And I stopped her and I said, listen, I am a professional. I work for one of the best catering companies in America, Glorious Foods. I've been in the service industry now for the last 15 years. I know exactly what I'm doing. And you should have called me in an hour earlier, and we could have gone over this party. And I needed an assistant because your place is so damn big. I said, but you didn't do that, did you? And she goes, what? And I totally gave it back to her. And she's like, well, I was told that you were a professional. I said, again, I am a professional, but I should have had a captain on this party. And you didn't want to spend the money, you didn't want to do that, so that's fine. But I can only do so much. Now I'm going to, clean up. And it was interesting. When I gave that little bark back at her, it shut her up. And she got this little smile on her face, almost like she enjoyed it. And that kind of rat-a-tat-tat back and forth kind of continued. And then she started asking me about what I did. She started opening up in a way. She was, so you're an actor, She kind of opened up on that a little bit. And she told me a couple of bogey stories. Then it was just her and I. The guests have left. I mean, the workers left. It was just her and I in this huge place. But the whole tenor of the night changed. And now, somehow in all this, I'd gotten her respect.
Yeah.
And now my view of her had changed. So now I thought, you know what it was? I got through it. Whatever it is, I told her, you don't treat me this way. And she was like, he's right. I could see I landed on her. And all of a sudden, she wasn't just looking at a worker. She was looking at a human being and an actor. Or whatever I wanted to be. I was standing there strong, and I was not going to acquiesce to her, and I didn't care whether she was a celebrity or not. And I think ultimately that got through to her. And I just remember us finishing up the dishes, and I was cleaning those bogey glasses, and she started telling me stories. And then we were done, and it was a little awkward. Like, all of a sudden, we were like, oh. There was a little bit of tension. I wouldn't say it was sexual tension, but it was a little bit like, okay, well, time to go, it was that little moment. And then we had this thing at the end where I went back to of course, she didn't let me leave in the front entrance. I had to leave during, in the back servant entrance. And she took me to the back door, and she went, that's it. And I go, I forget, where is the elevator? And she went, well, you go to the left, take another left, and there's the elevator. She goes, you press the button, and when the door opens, you get in. That's what she said to me. And as she was saying it to me, she was like in her back door. I remember the light was kind of hitting her from behind, and it darkened her face. And I was kind of shocked when I first met her how much she had aged, because we didn't have internet then. We hadn't seen a lot of pictures of people aging. So she wasn't striking Lauren Bacall anymore. During the whole party, I was like, wow, this woman's gotten older. She's obviously in her late 60s or whatever she was. But somehow in that moment, with the light from behind, I saw the beauty of her silhouette. And I saw her style, and then immediately I thought about her most famous line, which was, "How do you what is it? What do you know what her most famous line is? Which is, how do you whistle?" You ever remember that? It's from one of those movies that you haven't seen. It's her famous line is, they go, "How do you whistle?" And she goes, "Well, you put your lips together and you blow."
Yeah.
Right? So, but it almost had that kind of a sexy kind of feel to it when she was telling me to go to the elevator. And for a second, I just looked at her and went, wow, I can see it. I see it now. This is a sexy, powerful woman.
Wow.
At the same time, I thought to myself, she's very alone. I was leaving her alone in this mansion of an apartment, and that you could tell that she had not had a lot of parties. She wasn't going to have anyone over for a long time after this, and that she really was alone. And I made a note to myself, I'm not impressed with that with celebrity. Like my career, I want to be surrounded by people and joy and love and a family. And I would never have that feeling. I didn't want to be around that. I wasn't impressed with that. That scared me. So anyway, I left, and I got a story out of it.
Wow.
And there you go.
Isn't that an amazing story? Larry Clarke really knows how to tell a story, and that Lauren Bacall incident is just something I'll never forget. Every time I see a glimpse of her in a magazine or, something from the past, it just reminds me of that night that Larry was there with her. I mean, she just sounded like a nightmare, a lonely, bitter woman. Really incredible. All right, you guys. Thanks again for listening to Storyworthy. I appreciate you guys listening to the stories I bring from the past as well as brand new episodes. I'm really trying to entertain the masses here at Storyworthy, so thank you so much. And don't forget to check out my Life in 3 Songs. That's where I really want you to listen. All right, you guys. On behalf of the very talented Larry Clarke, my name is Christine Blackburn saying, make it a Storyworthy week.
To the rear, and you can follow me. I'll take you down to the river. Follow me. I'll keep you safe.
Thanks for joining us on the Storyworthy podcast. We'll be back next week with all new stories. Subscribe to Storyworthy on iTunes and visit the Storyworthy website at storyworthypodcast.com.
Hello, Saver. Whether you're saving for that trip to the tropics or saving for an emergency, now is the time to take advantage of Wells Fargo's savings options. Wells Fargo offers savings accounts that can help you save towards your goals. So, what are you saving for? Visit a Wells Fargo branch or wellsfargo.com/save to open a savings account today.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
Spin your passion into a business with Shopify and break sales records with the world's best converting checkout. Let's hear that one more time. The world's best converting checkout. Shopify's legendary checkout makes it easier for customers to shop on your website, across social media, and everywhere in between. Now that's music to your ears. Any way you spin it, you can be a smash hit with Shopify. Start your $1 a month trial today at shopify.com/records.